Choose the run over. It's King's birthday here in Victoria, and that has brought around the big freeze here in Melbourne. The cold weather has done likewise, but this NPL Men's Victoria season is starting to heat up. A win for both Melbourne Victory and Avondale could be crucial in different regards this evening. The Victory with a win could elevate themselves outside of the bottom three, and for Avondale, a win would see them top of the NPL Men's Victoria table by the end of the night. Stand By Me rings around the home of the Matildas, the anthem of the Melbourne Victory. And today, their NPL side plays host to Avondale for a bit of public holiday football. Oliver Walker-Peel is my name. Alongside me is Stefan Georgic. Stefan, welcome to you. This should be a lot of fun.
It should be a lot of fun. I'm very much looking forward to it. I know you are, Ollie. It is great to be here. King's birthday. Let's see how this game unfolds here today.
Let's go to the two teams then. One change for the Melbourne Victory from their loss to South Melbourne last weekend. Now to the team. Manos, a back four of Emlyn Wellsmore, Kalalu Carrara, Daniel Edwards and Stefan Zinni, who is in for Jordan Courtney Perkins. He's out of the squad entirely today. In the midfield, Ethan Pisani earns a start. He comes in for Ute Towns, who will be joined by Luca Tavia and Joey Katabian, who is in for Christian Trajewski, with a front three of Manny Agwek, Kerr and Sion Cuba, who takes the place of Yusuf Ahmed. And so it's the Melbourne Victory in that famous blue strip with the white V, that chevron we know so well. Avondale in all white as they look to take top spot in the NPL Men's Victoria table. Daniel Lazarevsky set to get us going from the home of the Matildas. A crucial evening for both of these two clubs for very different reasons. And we are underway from Bundoora. Melbourne Victory, winless in 7 in this competition, a run stretching back to the end of April. If they can stunt that run, albeit against a very, very good Avondale side, they will find themselves away from the place they need to avoid come the end of the season. And it's a smart start with their captain Jack Mahilidis involved. It's over for Patrick Wall. who enters the penalty area, shown to the byline, looks to pull it back. It's blocked behind by Daniel Edwards for an early corner. Good start from the Melbourne Victory NPL side.
And we have the first corner of the evening here for Melbourne Victory on this near side. They're just going to play it short here. Victory going to look to try and attack here early on, and another one is blocked. Mihalidi is not wasting any time whatsoever. Coming inside the box, and another corner as well. This is the fourth meeting between these two sides. Victory have a 3-0 head-to-head loss against Avondale. Avondale lead it. Last time these two teams played was way back in round 4. Avondale got a 4-1 win then, and it was this man, Kerr, who had 2 goals in that encounter. Here is Stefan Zini, near side. Avondale are going to look to try and start strong. Here's Edwards, and he's just going to retreat it all the way back. Ethan Pisani making the start this week. And the ball's just going to be tossed around. Ollie, you have covered NPL for quite some time, and Avondale, they are such a strong side, and now closing into the finals. It should be one to watch out for, especially considering that they're a team that have always finished within the top 2 or thereabouts, as we have Cuba coming in close, but that should be out of bounds and out of play.
Yeah, Avondale are a top side in this league, and they have been for a while. They also have players who are versatile and can play in a number of positions. Stefan Zini playing on the left wing, it looks like. Has featured also at left back. Across his tenure with Avondale, but can capably play both. Corner here for the Avengers. It's Kerr to try and swing it in. Not his best delivery. Sends it deep for Zini to retrieve. Severe back towards halfway for Emlyn Wellsmore, formerly in the academy system of the Brisbane Roar. Severe again, and Zini to roll it in. It's sent high and away by John Radamisis, and behind for another Avondale corner. Relatively healthy crowd here at the home of the Matildas in the main grandstand here. All fans here hoping to be treated to a good game of football. Sian Cuba to take from this near side. That's a better ball in. Sultan out to punch it away to the edge of the box and sent well over the top by Joey Katabian. Not the most noted of goal scorers, Joey Katabian, but having said that, he is someone who can find the back of the net. This now, NPL men's appearance number 154. Having scored 28 in his previous 153. Has 1 goal this season. Didn't find the back of the net at all in the league last time around. It's a first-time ball forward towards Manny Agwek. Parker Williams covering that off. Ricocheted out of play. This will be an Avondale throw.
And Avondale with most of the early possession here in this game thus far. 5 minutes elapsed here in the early stage of this one. Hopefully everybody's having a good King's birthday public holiday. It's been wet, it's been windy, it's been miserable today so far here in Melbourne, but locally this game can heat things up out there on the pitch here at the home of the Matildas. Daniel Edwards on the near side to throw it in, right in front of the benches. Here is Ethan Piscini. Didn't make the start last week, as we mentioned previously. And Kamara. So both teams just feeling each other out here in the early stage of this one. A little bit of a slip up there it was by Kirker. And he's going to keep this ball rolling at the moment here. What can Avondale do? Agwek was there, and instead here is Stefan Zini. He's going to look to try and maintain possession of it for Avondale. And they're just going to roll it back. Avondale, a win here would propel them right back up to the top of the table. 1 point clear of Heidelberg it will put them. They've only had the 2 losses so far. Sorry, the 3 losses, I should say, so far this season. As Edwards going to try and cross it in towards the back of Kirker. And Zini and the crossbar. And the ball's still in. And a very close one. And just like that, Avondale, they know how to strike. And they're going to put them on watch early as Avondale. A corner coming up here. What can they do?
Should have scored there, Stefan Zini. Goal gaping for him. Slanted against the crossbar. That's one he'd love back, but good build-up play from Avondale, almost leading to the opening goal.
So here we got another corner coming up here. And it's in the back. Sultan manages to just fly up and get a punch onto it. And referee won't signal anything there. Melbourne victory now. We're going to try and go on the counter-attack here. It's a good-looking ball for Patrick Wall. He got the slip down. He couldn't quite get enough traction on that one. It is a wet pitch out there. It's going to be a little bit of a slip and slide out there. Been raining all day here in Melbourne. A very good opportunity there it was for Patrick Wall. A close one there for victory, but still 0-0 on the scoreboard here.
A little bit unlucky there. Patrick Wall, top scorer in the league for victory this season with 4. His eyes would have widened at the prospect of a 5th, but didn't quite pan out as he'd have hoped. Our referee, by the way, for today is Puya Guderian. Switch of play cut out. Tabena Barney almost caught on it. Williams and now the Melbourne victory able to keep it. Williams lost it. Good play by Gweck and Kirker. It is Kirker to the byline, tried to pull it back. At the top of the 6-yard box, it's Charlie Gorevsky in the road. Bit of a nervy moment for the former Central Coast Mariners youngster Parker Williams, who tried to maraud his way out the back with the ball, almost to his detriment. Edwards down the line. Onside was Tavia. He's inside the box, tried the reverse ball. We'll have another look at it and win his team a corner. Good tenacity there from Luca Tavia. And another set piece. We've seen a few of these inside the opening 9 minutes here from Bundura. Sion Cuba with an opportunity to send this one in. Cuba chipping this one in towards the middle. Kamara couldn't quite get up. Sevilla kept running, but wasn't used initially by Kirker, whose footwork was rather fancy. Edwards, one of the export Melbourne players out there. Luca Tavia much the same, and he's on the ball here. Receiving from Kirker in towards Manny Agwek. Sultan down to intervene. And that's the pretty build-up play that any NPL Men's Victoria observer would have seen from Avondale over a number of years now. This is by no means new for this club that will most likely light up the Australian Championship by the end of the year. It's worth a question too, Stefan, that of course it's the premiers of this division, the team who finishes first, that will get that Australian Championship slot. Unless, of course, it's Avondale who are already there. Then it goes down to the second place team, which at the moment is Avondale, but would be Heidelberg if Avondale were to win today.
Well, it could be, but then again, you might get a shocker later on in the season, maybe, depending on how the rest of the teams go. Dandenong Thunder is looking strong. Oakley Cannons, we know how good they are as well, so look for those other teams as well. But then again, it would be nice to see all the other teams get in there as well. But so far, Avondale second, and a win could propel them up top. And the ball just keeping alive. Agwek is in there and can't quite manage to keep the ball alive for victory. And he's just going to clear it out here to Patrick Wall. As you said, mentioned earlier, Ollie, 4 goals so far this season. He's going to look to try and get 5 here in this game. And a close one there, Ethan Piscini. Just let it go, and a big boot it was from Thomas Manos, the goalkeeper for Avondale. The ball's actually up here in the grandstand, but as you were mentioning before about that Australian Championship, 3 teams already from the Victorian competition down here in the NPL through, that being Preston Lions, Avondale and South Melbourne. Be great to see another one as well. Here's Radamisis. Finding Georgakopoulos in the engine room. Does a whole lot for the team. And victory just going to slow the tempo up here in this one. Finding Gorevsky in the middle. And here's Kirker now. Avondale are going to look to try and strike back. Here they come. Just on the cusp of the box. And he only just lost it by Jordan Hoey. And it will be Melbourne Victory's ball and the first free kick. Last time when these two teams played each other, it was 13 fouls for Melbourne Victory. The 3 fouls happened for Avondale. And here we might have a chance there for Cuba, and not quite. And the ball's going to be cleared off to Abani. He's going to waste no time trying to go down the line to Hoey, and that one is going to be quickly fought off. Avondale so far, majority of possession here, Ollie. Definitely running most of the show. How can Victory try and sneak back into this game and retain most of the possession and try and possibly get a goal on the scoreboard?
That's something that Boris Soroshton, the coach of this Victory team, would have gone over during the week, I'm sure. They would have expected that Avondale would have most of the ball, and so far that has proved to be the case. Maybe it's one where they'll try and hit Avondale on the counter, or catch them cold when they're trying to play around the back like that. Here's Wall. A little bit laissez-faire at the back from Avondale. Allowing the Victory back in. Burke. Georgakopoulos, central for Williams, who looks left to Benarabani with a chance to send this one in if he wants. Looks shorter and gave it away. A promising opportunity came to naught there for the Victory. That is, of course, one way that they could be allowed in if the opposition are the architects of their own downfall, as they almost were there, Avondale. Edwards down the line. Tavir making the run for him. Good body work from Luca Tavir, who then checks in field. It's Luca Tavir, feigned to shoot and then did. Deflected and over the top. Brilliant from Luca Tavir. Did the body work early. Sauntered in field and saw his effort partially blocked. Another corner to come.
A couple early chances here for Avondale. They're definitely going to try and make use of what they've got here, Ollie, but it's troubling signs so far for Melbourne Victory. Only just a one shot compared to the mirage that Avondale have had.
Will that mirage continue here? It's Kerr. It's the back post. Kamara trying to ghost in. The last touch was an Avondale one. So it's behind for a victory goal kick.
So another close one there for Avondale. Last time out when these two teams played, again, 4-1 was the score. Melbourne Victory led that game 1-0. It was a goal by George Ott in the 10th minute of that one, and then straight away Avondale managed to reply, equalising it at 1 apiece. But maybe we could be on here. Jordan Hoey not wasting any time. However, he was quickly cut off by Emlyn Wellsmore, the former Oakley Cannons player. Two ex-Oakley Cannons players playing for Avondale. One being Emlyn Wellsmore, who's throwing the ball in as we speak, and the other being Stefan Valentini, two key pieces in that Oakley Cannons championship that they had last season. So far, they've been perfect additions for this Avondale squad, just like they were last season. And a beautiful little trick play there from Thomas Manos, former A-League player. Whole lot of experience in this Avondale squad. Melbourne Victory, a very, very young squad. A whole heap of players around the 18, 19, 20, 21 year age. Great for them to try and play against these well-experienced players. Here's Manos. Going to go to Zini. It was Burke who managed to rise up before the ball could be delivered to Zini. Here's Mihalidis. And back off to Edwards. Doing a great job so far in that back line, not allowing any ball to go past. Georgakopoulos. And the ball just being tipped around at the moment here for both squads. Here's Wall, who had a shot early on, who slipped up on the pitch, actually. Mihalidis again, just tiptoeing his way around. Burke going to try and cross it in. Possibly a chance here for victory, and it won't quite. Manos is going to be able to clear it out, but so far, a little bit of good signs here for Melbourne Victory, getting a possible opportunity to score, but here comes Avondale again on the counter-attack. It's a reason why they are one of the top teams in the competition. It's a nice ball there from Tavir to Stefan Zini. He's inside, trying to go for it, and they get it! Avondale with a first. And there's a reason why they are one of the best in the competition in Victoria. And just like that, a 1-0 lead for Avondale. And what a goal it was. It was the play from Tavir that set up Stefan Zini, and it was a finish that was for the highlight.
I think he got a little bit lucky there, Stefan Zini. The first effort was one that I don't think he would be playing back all too much. Fired it straight at Sultan, the Victory goalkeeper. But it fell back to him. Jonas Sultan unable to get the ball under his spell. And from a rather tight angle, Zini getting the ball across the line and putting Avondale in front. Was brilliant play, though, from Luca Tavir to help orchestrate it. And now this Victory team must look for a response. Burke and Wall. And the inside right channel for Mihalidis, who has won the ball back. And Daniel Edwards electing not to concede the corner.
How about as well, Ollie, the tight angle that Stefan Zini had on that, and he somehow managed to knock it in. What about it?
It was a rather unguarded goal, though. So it was one that you would expect him to finish. Tight angle, sure, but you'd be asking real questions if that one hadn't found the back of the net from there. Wall towards Mihalidis. Sliced away by Katabian. And taken down out of play by the goal scorer, Stefan Zini. That one he's just scored his 4th of the season, 52nd in his Victorian top flight career. Formerly of Melbourne City and Western Sydney at A-League men's level. 2 clubs of victory aren't all too fond of. Lazarevsky at the edge of the box makes a hash of it. And sends that one a fair way wide and a fair way high. And despite the 1-0 scoreline, Zoki Markovski, the Avondale coach, with some words of instruction for his team. It's given away by Stefan Zini. Lazarevsky for Wall, and out of play. This will be a victory throw. Zoran Markovski is very rarely a man who is happy with a 1-0 lead. He'd only be happy with a 1-0 lead at the full-time whistle. He's a manager who instructs his players, where possible, to not rest on their laurels, and it's part of the reason why this Avondale have been so successful this year, and part of a club ethos that has extended back a few years now. Agwek with the expansive switch. Kerr. Bit of a heavy first touch to allow Tabena Abani in. Then Avondale throw nonetheless. Kamara looking forwards. That one will only pick out Jonas Sultan. And victory's number 40 today. We'll roll it short. It was a number worn most commonly by Christian Siciliano across this NPL Men's Victoria campaign. It has been announced that he will leave the club at the end of his contract. George Kopoulos. Burke unable to keep hold. And Zini now opposing him. Down the Avondale left he goes. Stefan Zini rolling it across. He gave that one away. Victory there. Not electing to go forward as quick as they otherwise might have. Just wondering there if the game was about to open up, but the host today in no rush to make a telling mistake. Radomisis looking to get the ball in behind. Lazarevsky won't run that one down, and Avondale have it back.
Here is Stefan Zini. And so far, it is Avondale in very much clear control of this one. Melbourne Victory just playing a bit of catch-up. Burke. Back off to Wall and back again off to Burke. And Avondale with a big-time press. Here's Tavir, forcing Melbourne Victory in a mistake. Here's Cuba, possibly with a chance. Agwek inside, hits the side post. Couldn't get it in and can't quite. Is Kerr on the second backup attempt. A very, very close one indeed. And Agwek, second time, that time it was hitting the woodwork. And a very, very close one indeed. He is etching for a goal. Here's Manny Agwek. He's on 12 goals at the moment this season. I'm sure he'd love another one.
Yeah, and if he's to get another one, he would take the outright lead in the Golden Boot, which he currently shares with Joe Guest, who also has 12. That was sloppily given away by Sultan. Worried off it was Tavir, who was then the player fouling Charlie Gorevsky. Of course, Oakley not in action this weekend. They should have played last night against the Melbourne Knights at Summer Street, but that one called off late morning yesterday due to a waterlogged pitch. So that one will be replayed at a later date. As Wall makes his way down the Victory right. Burke back to halfway. As Kerr has it back. Options left and right. Looks right. It's an early ball to the back post. Severe on the stretch. Diverting it wide. He was offside. Emlyn Wellsmore with the ball into the middle, arcing it towards the back post, but in the end, Severe making his run a fraction too early.
And just like that, Avondale just showing why they are the top team in the competition. Almost every single time they've had that ball inside the box, it's almost certainly been a shot. Last time when these two teams played, Avondale had 13 shots, 9 of which were on target. Melbourne Victory restricted to just the 2 and the 1 shot on target.
You can talk about a one-club mentality all you like. It means nothing if you can't enforce it, but the Victory are doing a good job here. Just in Arthur Dillis, the head coach of the A-League men's side, walk in to the grandstand. Not sure if he was watching the first 27 minutes from a different vantage point. But he is here, which is a really good sign and good to see for all these players out there trying to earn a chance with his team next season. As Edwards rolls forward, Sultan will get there. What a season for Arthur Dillis, by the way. Started as the assistant to Patrick Kisnorbo. Kisnorbo left the club. Arthur Dillis stepping in, first in an interim basis, and then in a permanent role, led his team to a grand final. Not bad going at all. As Gorevsky is fouled, Victory will take a free kick. I'm sure it would mean a lot to these younger players. They might not know that Arthur Dillis is here, but if they did, I'm sure that would mean a lot that these NPL players, Stefan, are getting eyes on them from the head coach of the first team at the Victory.
Well, it definitely is. Obviously, 3 players from this program of Melbourne Victory are currently in the Melbourne Victory A-League squad. Casey Voss, Christian Siciliano and Joshua Insera, all 3 being in the A-League squad. So possibly doing a little bit of scouting here to see which one is the next star. But here's Avondale possibly on another opportunity. Here's Edwards back off to Stefan Zini on this near side, who had the early goal, and ball just going to be tipped up to Veer. So far, Melbourne Victory doing a good job of keeping Avondale at bay, not letting them break off and giving them with another goal. It would have been easy, but with the shots that Avondale have had, they haven't been anything but light work. Tavir does an exceptional job inside. Here's Stefan Zini with a shot. That one won't be good. Deflected it was. Here's Kerr to Agwek, who's had a couple shots so far, and that one's just going to be tipped away. But so far, Melbourne Victory doing a good job keeping the pressure on Avondale, not allowing them with any clear shots. Every single time Avondale have had a shot, there's always been a body inside the box in front of the player. That one goal they did concede, it was a tough one at that. So another corner coming up here as we wait for Kerr just to tie his shoelaces up, and this could be one that Avondale could try and score a second, possibly. Ball's up, Edwards is running, couldn't quite get there in time. The ball was lipped over his head. And here's Kerr again, who's got a Barney. Tries to trick him, goes to the left, and another shot from Kirker. He's not allowing any opportunities to be wasted at the moment, is Kirker. Kirker from Kenya, he is. Joined Avondale last year, played one game for FC Adelaide City in 2021. Spent a little bit of time up in the Super League in Serbia for FK Novi Pazar. And last season played 24 games for Avondale, booted in 9 out of those 24. So Kirker is going to be one to watch. Cuba. Kamara. And the ball just going to be tipped around here. Could Avondale create another chance? Here's Stefanzini on this near side, being pressured very heavily by Burke. And here's Tavir again, who's been held actually by Gorevsky. And this will be a free kick going the way of Avondale. And they're electing to not waste any time. Here's Stefanzini, who's in the box. Gonna just retreat back. Katabian, back off again. And they're just tipping the ball around here, Avondale up. Didn't waste any time on that free kick. Went straight away, and that ball's going to be tipped away. And here might come Melbourne victory. Can they possibly try and make amends of the possession? And it will be Abani who will retain it and will pass it off to Gorevsky. But instead it'll be led off by Kirker. And Kirker just getting a little bit etchy here in this one. And as we slowly wind up to the 35-minute mark in this one. Still a 1-0 lead here, Ollie, on this King's birthday clash.
Williams, fouled there by Manny Agwek. Ball works over here to the victory left. Obani there on the overlap. We'll get there, we'll roll it into the box. Kamara there at the front post. Cuba, a little short, switch over towards Zinni. Burke. Across to Wall. And Mihalides, the Victory NPL captain. Across to the D, trying to work a yard for himself. Lazarevsky lost it. Kamara immediately looking forwards. Edwards. Here's Zinni again, been promising early for Avondale. Tavir will go around the outside of him. Wasn't used. Agwek over towards Kirker, who's been busy on this Avondale right. A few step overs. He now waits for support. Finds it, and a first-time shot coming in from Emlyn Wellsmore was a rocket that stung the palms of Jonas Sultan. Ball behind again for another Avondale corner. It's almost death by 1,000 cuts when you're playing this Avondale team. And they have more than one way of finding an avenue to goal. Almost finding it with a rocket there from Emlyn Wellsmore as the corner comes in from Kirker. Dropped by Sultan. But it drops luckily for him in a position where he could recover. Almost a tough moment for the victory custodian this evening, but he recovered quickly and recovered well.
What a shot that was by Wellsmore. Didn't waste any time. Absolutely laced the ball. I actually thought that was going in, Ollie, to be exact. That was a huge boot by Emlyn Wellsmore, the ex-Oakley Cannons player. Emlyn Wellsmore, no shy of scoring any goals. Had 4 goals last season. So he's definitely no stranger to scoring any goals, that's for sure. Here's Patrick Wall again. What can he make of it this time? He's being pressured very heavily. He is. There's Lazarevsky, who only just tripped up again inside the box. A little bit of trip-ups happening on that right side of the pitch towards the empty grandstand. It's actually empty, I say that, and I see two people sitting right up the top of the grandstand, so I wouldn't quite call it empty, but 98% of it is empty. Michailidis was pressing up very, very hard there on Thomas Manos, forcing him into a mistake. Could this be the opening that Victory need? Urbani to throw it in. He's got Hoey directly in front of him. Here is Urbani to cross it in. It's quickly stopped by Kamara and a shot. Ooh, and it was a close one there. It was again by Victory. Positive and encouraging signs as they are starting to get a couple shots on goal. Patrick Wall tries to fight it back and regain possession. And it's Katabian to clear it out off to Emlyn Wellsmore. Kerr and Urbani that time. Urbani has played in all 16 games thus far for Melbourne Victory. This being his 17th. Majority of Melbourne Victory's players do come from their under-23 squad. A very young team using it as experience against this very heavily experienced Avondale squad. There's Jordan Hoey. Jordan Hoey, who's had 3 goals so far this season. Here's Daniel Edwards for Avondale. Going to cut it back to Stefan Zini. And back off to Tavir in wide open space. Kerr, who's had majority of the possession so far this half. Here is Tavir again, Kerr, and just lost it again. And can Melbourne Victory go on that one? The answer is no. Quickly stopped by the defense. The defense is just way too strong at the moment for Melbourne Victory. Kamara and Wellsmore just proving to be a little bit too strong in the back line, along too with Ethan Piscini. Speak of the devil, here he is. Thomas Manos. So here's Stefan Zini. Just cutting back inside. Tavir just on the cusp. Kerr inside the box. He's got a Barney on him. Not wasting any time, trying to create some space, but couldn't. And it was Williams who managed to kick that one away. Williams in the right spot at the right time. And it will be Avondale with the throw in. Here's Kerr again. Spoke about him having majority of the possession. He's had majority of it. Tavir as well, another player who's having a high impact in this game. Created the opportunity for that goal. And the ball will be pushed back into the back line.
Katabian forwards. From there for the run of Emlyn Wellsmore. So Avondale with a 1-0 lead. Stefan Zini gave them a second opportunity after firing an effort straight at Jonas Sultan. Sani up to win the header. Thrown in by Burke, but he gave it away. How smartly done was that by Kerr? He tries to move away from Burke. He was right with him all the way. Lazarevsky and Wall, who will try and breeze by Daniel Edwards. He's done well. He's into the box. Pisani back to try and make the play. Lazarevsky couldn't then get to the ball. Katabian trying to flare it over to the Avondale right, but unsuccessful in finding a man in a white shirt. Good work by Wall to win it back for Melbourne victory. Lazarevsky, Mihalidis will send it in from the byline. Towards the back post it goes. Jordan Hosher picked this one up, and Lazarevsky spooned it into the waiting arms of Tom Manos. The opportunity opened up for him. And Daniel Lazarevsky couldn't quite strike through the football as he would have hoped. Got himself caught underneath it. And in the end, a rather easy save when Tom Manos should have been tested. Sabian. Snuffed out by Barney. Clipped over the top. Wall offside. Couldn't hold his run. But he's either found himself or almost found himself in some good positions, Patrick Wall. There was the moments earlier on in the first half where he got himself in behind and slipped. There's been a couple of times where he's been a fraction offside. If he can hold his run on those occasions, he's a smart footballer to know where he's meant to be. Just about putting that into practice. Zinni, as we move into the final minute of the 45. He's shown to the byline. Takes the offer on, and almost a moment of ingenuity at the front post. Manny Agwek looking for goal number 13, and that would have been some way to find it. Cuba, he'll send it in. Agwek there, over his head. Kerr will pick it up here for Avondale. Face to face with the Barney. Looks as though we're about to move into one additional minute at the end of the 45. Confirmed.
The fourth official has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute of additional time.
Thank you, Josh Parrish. One of our own FV commentators running the PA today. Here at the home of the Matildas. Pisani got there ahead of Wall. Mihalidis. Georgakopoulos lost his footing. Is there time for Avondale here? Nice body feint by Tavia, who charges forward. Luca Tavia options left and right. Locates Zinni at the edge of the box. Moves in field and forces a stop out of Jonas Sultan. Was central So one that you'd expect the goalkeeper to deal with. Couldn't prevent the corner, and there's a late opportunity here for Avondale to add a second before the break.
And it was a close one there, indeed it was, for Avondale, a possible second one in the additional time. What can they make of it as we see the security guards just rolling out the tunnel, getting ready for the completion of completion of the first half.
I'm with you. I knew what you meant. So late corner here for Avondale, which is sent in. Sultan to punch away as far as Tavia. And it's a bit going on in the goal mouth. Sultan down in the aftermath of it all. And a little bit of ironing out for Puyagadirian to do. Kalalu Kamara was in there for Avondale. And something out of nothing. It's as though we were going to head to the half without any more notable events. Unless there was a goal there, of course. But a slight spot fire has called Puyagadirian into action. Jonas Sultan, in the meantime, getting a little bit of attention. Eyes turn to Puyagadirian, who is going towards his pocket and will pull out a card. Joey Katabian remonstrating. Kalalu Kamara has got a yellow card, the first booking of the evening, for his involvement in the scuffle inside the 6-yard box. Safe to say Joey Katabian isn't too happy with the result of that, voicing his opinion to a point which we probably can't repeat on air. In fact, no probably about it. And we won't have another kick of the football in anger in this first half. That'll do, says referee Puyagadirian, and Avondale lead. Heading into the break, as they did for the majority of that first half. It was Stefan Ziddy's goal that separates the two sides. Got a little bit fortuitous with his second effort after his first was fired at Jonas Sultan, who made the save. Couldn't corral the ball, and Ziddy fired into a rather unguarded goal. Victory had a couple of opportunities, perhaps most notably to Patrick Wall, who slipped as he was about to fire in behind.
Welcome back, everybody. King's birthday clash here at the home of the Matildas between Melbourne Victory and Avondale. Avondale lead 1-0 after a goal by Stefan Zini. Stefan Georgic and Oliver Walker Peel here with you, calling the game on this King's birthday clash. A cold one. It was a slippery first half, Ollie, and we saw early on when Patrick Wall had that clear shot and he slipped. Do you reckon the pitch has now sort of kicked in and really booted back into life? No more slippages happening out there?
It has. It'll be one of those where it might look dewy at one point and then in a short moment might be dry. There's a change here for the Melbourne Victory side, by the way. Lexi Harides is to make his introduction. One of two Harides brothers with the Victory NPL side, or in the system. His brother James, they playing in the 21s. Taking the place, by the way, of Stasi Georgakopoulos, who started in midfield to get the second half underway. Victory looking to start strong with that pass behind Mihalidis. Lexi Harides, by the way, was credited with the assist to the Luka Kolic Rabona a short while back that sent shockwaves around this league and around Australian football circles as well. So it's over for Stefan Zini, who scored the goal in the first half to separate these two. Rolls it across. Sion Cuba trying to cut across the ball, but ended up firing it wide. Pisani. And Edwards are now back with the goal scorer. Kamara and Zini again, shifting his way in field. Former youth team player at South Melbourne, made his 150th NPL Men's Victoria appearance way back in February against the Melbourne Knights. So a storied career for Stefan Zini. Victory with a man down. Currently well away from where the ball now sits. Well, Daniel Lazarevsky, the player, down, but he's now back to his feet and this game back underway. Kerr rolling forwards. Mises. Burke out of play, Avondale throw.
So here could be a chance for Avondale for Cuba. This is Melbourne Victory's first time in the NPL competition after being promoted from VPL 1 last year. And so far, not doing too bad, trailing 1-0 against a side who has had plenty of success in the NPL, being Avondale. Here's Tavir, who's coming in slowly, and he couldn't quite deliver it in time to Stefan Zini. Stefan Zini, the former Melbourne City, Western Sydney Wanderers and Western United player. Had a short stint for those clubs. And the ball just going to be looped around at the moment here. And this time around, Melbourne Victory will look to try and keep things alive. Here's Lazareski, who's charging in forwards. No signs of slowing down, and he was quickly stopped in his tracks by Sian Cuba. What can Melbourne Victory do this time out? Here's Kerker. All alone here on this near side. Back off to Agwek, who's inside. A big shot it was. Melbourne Victory out of body inside. And Parker Williams just in the right spot at the right time. Managing to deflect that ball big time for Victory. Could have had Avondale up 2-0 with that one. Agwek could have had his 13th goal of the season. The ball be cleared off to Edwards. Back off to Tavir. Tavir, who's been exceptional so far this evening. Zini. Back off, charging forwards. Cuba is inside, just on the cusp of the box. Going to lead it forward to Tavir. And Victory doing yet another job at deflecting that ball again. This time it's Ho. He's one-on-one with Kerr. This time to Agwek. Inside the box. And just going to lose it. Melbourne Victory again doing a good job. And a massive kick it was by Wellsmore. And that one is going to leave a mark.
It's Jack Mihalides, the Victory captain, who's copped the brunt of that. Mitre balls, when fizzed at you in short order, are never fun to deal with.
A bit of a scorpion, wouldn't you say there, Ollie?
I'd say a falcon.
Falcon, that's the one.
That's the one. Different animal.
That's the one, Falcon.
Different animal.
I was on the right track.
Oh, they're both animals, I suppose. They're not like each other in any other way, but again, I see what you mean.
Falcon was what I meant.
There you go. That's for a bit of animal talk for your King's birthday Monday evening. Pisani over to the Avondale left. Zini was surely fouled. Linus Burke, the player dragging Avondale's number 7 back. There, Katabian. Avondale surging again. Ball this time taken away from Fanzini as Melbourne Victory will be allowed the advantage here. Lazarevski central and sending it left. Mihalides recovering after the ball to the face, but then losing the ball at his feet. Kerr was fouled by Mihalides, who was going back to try and atone for losing the ball. Smart football this by Avondale. Agwek over to the left-hand side. Zinni down the inside left channel. He's inside the box. To the byline he goes, cutting it back. Not his best, but Agwek went to find it and dragged it wide. The cutback not as squeaky clean as Avondale have been all day, but Manny Agwek doing well to go back and retrieve it. And there might not be a player in this league who you'd rather in that situation. With a shot from there. I'm sure Joe Guest would like a word, but there's not many other who would lay a claim, given that those two are equal on 12 goals this season in this league. A free kick coming here, though, for Melbourne Victory. First touch by a Barney. Trying to hit the 1-2 with Jordan Hoey, and Avondale are back on the ball. Agwek rolling it short. And Wellsmore firing one over the top.
And a very close one there was for Wellsmore. Good control there by Mihalidis. Looks to be recovering fine after the falcon that he had. Here's Wellsmore. Jordan Hoey. Back off. They're just passing the ball around here, Melbourne Victory up. Avondale pressing very hard indeed, not allowing Melbourne Victory any attacking opportunity so far. Maybe there could be one here. Mihalidis manages to get past Katabian, but that one won't last very long. And Manos just takes his time, inviting Lazarevski close up, and then he eventually picks up the football. And this could be an opportunity here for Melbourne Victory. Lazarevski off to Jordan Hoey. He's going to try and cross it in. There's players inside. Harides was there. Hoey again tries to chip it up inside the box. And that ball will just be filtered away for Melbourne Victory. But it will be Avondale's free kick. Melbourne Victory having a tough time at the moment with the defence of Avondale. This man, Edwards, who's been exceptional. Katabian doing a great job in the engine room as well for Avondale. And the ball will be out of play here, directly in front. Kirker just going to let Wellsmore throw it in. Avondale, who are quite a strong team. Not many flaws that this team does have, so very hard to exploit it. Agwek, who's going to clear it out onto the far side to Zinni. The only goal scorer this evening. He's got Burke right on him. Burke stops him right in his tracks, managing to get a foot right in the path of the ball. And the ball just retreating all the way back again. Kirker, who's been everywhere so far here this evening. He's had rockets on his legs with the amount of runs that he's been having. Here's Kirker again. Nice little through ball off to Luca Tavir. Tavir inside, and Agwek! 13 for Agwek! But it's an offside and it won't be called.
That was the initial call from the assistant referee. Puyi Gadirian has gone over to check it and consult with his assistant as to what he's seen.
What did you think, Ollie? What did it look like from your angle?
I'd much rather trust the referees because they have a much better view. And the assistant referee has been overruled by the looks of things.
And just like that, a 2-0 lead. And Tavir once again providing with another passage of play for Agwek. 13 for Agwek this time. And Avondale with a 2-0 lead over Melbourne Victory. And he's going to love that one. Now, Ollie, he's the leading scorer in the NPL competition.
He'll love that one. Avondale will love that one. Safe to say the Melbourne Victory NPL side will not and do not love that one. Still consultation goes on between their playing staff, their coaching staff, and the officials. I was about to say that from the angle that I saw, from what I was looking at, it looked a level ball across, but I am by no means the best person to ask for that. A couple of changes in the offing here for the Victory. Tommaso Menatoli and Damian Bozanovsky will be called upon here. Charlie Gorevsky is off.
Double substitution.
So too, Daniel Lazarevsky.
Number 11, Daniel Lazarevsky, and number 28, Charlie Gorevsky. And coming on, number 4, Damian Bozanovsky, and number 9, Tommaso Minatoli.
So a double switch here for the Victory, who are now 2 goals down. Rolled forward by Tavir. It might get worse for the Victory before it gets better. Zinni had his progress stunted in the end by Bozanovsky. So as you rightly point out, Stefan, 13 now for Manny Agwek. Doesn't matter the circumstances in which they go in, they all count for the same. This one's sent in towards the front post. Dealt with initially by the Victory, and after taking the corner, Kirko will now take the throw short. Agwek's at the byline. He'll go with the outside of the foot, back into the middle. Kamara couldn't keep it for as long as he would have hoped. Stepping back in is Tavia, who will go out wide for Kirko. He'll fizz it in. And fizzed in all the way to the point where Ethan Pisani had to scamper over towards the touchline to keep that one alive, which he did. Manos. Avondale here looking to play their way out. Edwards. He'll roll it down the line. It's a smart ball. Zinni might be in again. Bobbled in front of Sultan, and due to that, he made a decent save. Did well to track it, even though it was bobbling in front of him. Tavia. He'll have it and lose it, and then pull back Mihilides. Advantage played again by Puyi Gadirian. It's not an advantage that the Victory will make good use of. Oh, Kirker, smartly done. He's almost been rugby tackled by Jordan Hoey. Easiest yellow card Puyi Gadirian might ever give.
How was that not called earlier is what I want to know. Jordan Hoey had a full grip on him and nothing was being called, and eventually it did.
I'll tell you why. Because Kirker almost made his way through it somehow. Puyi Gadirian, the referee, was waiting to see if there was any advantage there. because for a split second it looked as though Kerr might break his way free of the arms around him by Jordan Hoey, which would have been quite something.
Nevertheless, though, it was a free kick for Avondale. Kerr, the very athletic human being he is. And the ball is in. And it's a close one, and a shot it was by Tavir inside the box. Slipped again, a couple slippages inside the box. Wasn't quite able to make amends of it. And a nice sell there it was by Katabian. And a couple substitutions getting ready for Avondale, being Stefan Valentini along with Blake Carpenter. And it's a big shot from well outside the box, but it won't be counted. And that is Stefan Zini. Special shout out as well for Tommaso Minatoli. It was his birthday 3 days ago. Turned 20 on Friday the 6th of June. So happy birthday to Tommaso Minatoli. So Melbourne victory. Just going to roll it around. Here he is, the birthday boy. The belated birthday, Minatoli. Charging forwards, and there's a slippage by Kamara. Could this be an opportunity for victory? Not quite that time. And Avondale once again with a stop, and it looks to be Stefan Valentini to come on for Stefan Kamara. So one Stefan coming on and the other coming off.
Stefan Valentini for Stefan Zini. One of the two changes. Blake Carpenter about to come on as well for his second appearance in as many weeks, as Kerr is shown down the line by Abani. Might be Daniel Edwards, the second change for Carpenter, which would make sense. One fullback on for another. Cuba looking left. Can Stefan Zini's final involvement be a positive one? On towards Tavia, who kept it alive but showed too much of it to Linus Burke. Edwards. Here's Katabian, who holds the distinction of being Melbourne Victory NPL top scorer. Scored 7 goals in Melbourne Victory's only season before this one in the top flight of Victorian football. Scored 7 goals, and no one this season has reached 7. There'll be a third change, in fact, on top of the 2 already forecasted. Yusuf Ahmed will come on too.
For Avondale FC, coming off number 7, Stefan Zini, to be replaced by number 22, Stefan Valentini.
It was Kalalu Kamara, in fact, for Blake Carpenter, rather than Edwards.
And finally, coming off, number 11, Kerr, replaced by number 41, Yusuf Ahmed.
And Kerr will come off here. He's had a wonderful game. Yusuf Ahmed will come on, so a triple switch. And just to complete all of the housekeeping, Daniel Edwards is still out there, and he's been shifted to centre half to accommodate Blake Carpenter at left back. I thought I saw a number 3 in red about to go up, but not to be. Whether that was a late switch from an Avondale point of view or my vision's just terrible. One of the two. On towards Agwe, cut out there by Williams. And the Victory will keep hold of the ball here.
So a couple fresh legs for Avondale, hoping to try and seal the deal, even though it looks to be sealed at the moment. 2-0, very convincing. The clouds have also set here as well, providing with a little bit of fog here in Bandura, the home of the Matildas.
be honest, I reckon that's just the smoke from the Savlaki stall that's here. Easy to be confused. There is a fair bit out there, isn't there?
There is clearly. Clearly it must have been me going there and ordering one. I must have placed a pre-order before. I would love one right now, just the smell of it. It smells too good. But back to the action, though. So to get you all hungry at home. Here's Wellsmore. And not wasting any time is Jordan Hoey right next to him, bringing the ball away from him. Here's Wellsmore again, keeping it alive, but it will be Melbourne Victory's ball and the free kick. A little bit more signs of life for Melbourne Victory in this second half. That's just too strong from the defence of Blake Carpenter. Playing that left-back position for Avondale. This is his second game that he's played, only playing in just the one before previously. He's had a bit of a quiet season. Here's Mihalides. Clearing it off to Abani. Abani again. Here he is on this near side. He's got Wellsmore. Wasting no time getting around him. Could this be a potential opportunity? A close one it was for Harides inside the box for Victory. But not quite to be that time. But a close one indeed. And we have a corner coming up here on this near side for Victory. They would love to get a score. Last time out, these two teams played back in the fourth round. It was Avondale with a 4-1 victory. This time out, though, it's a 2-0 lead for them here at the home of the Matildas, I should say. As a close one inside the back of the net is good. Bozanovsky puts it in the back of the netting, and the Victory faithful go wild here. And there is a goal for them. And the soundtrack playing here at the home of the Banduras. What a goal that one was, Ollie.
Yeah, great ball to the back post.
Victory scored by number 4, Damian Bozanovsky.
Bozanovsky with his first goal at this level this season. And now it's game on from the home of Matildas. Will that be about to change? Maniagwek offside, was sauntering after it. And it was a little bit lucky from the Melbourne Victory perspective that he was offside, because Jonas Sultan didn't make clearing the ball away look as easy as it probably should have done, but it didn't matter in the end.
What a response that would have been for Avondale to get that one, eh, Ollie?
Oh, absolutely. Abani. This game has changed. He moves away from Ahmed. Infield it goes. Opportunity then for Jordan Hoey. Blocks away. A pep in the Victory step now. Good work there. Down the left-hand side by Valentini, who kept it longer than he probably ought to have. Couldn't win the throw for his team, though. Switch here for the Victory. James Lackey is about to come on. A man who recently donned a Bayern Munich shirt as part of a world tour with them. Joined the Victory from Green Gully for this season. As part of that world tour, he played against the Bayern under-19 side. He's played against some rather handy opposition in the past. Here's Minatoli. Central, does he elect to shoot? He rolls it across instead. Chance, Jordan Hoey beaten away by Manos and sent back in by Burke for a goal kick. Aren't they building something here, the Victory? And with a chance for James Lackey to contribute to that potentially. He'll take the place of Patrick Wall. As there's a reshuffle at the top end of the pitch for the hosts.
Substitution for Melbourne Victory. Coming off, number 22, Patrick Wall. Replaced by number 24, Jimmy Lackey.
So a quarter of the hour of the 90, just over left to play. Burke stepping in, rolling it central. Paredes, Alexi that is, trying to get it across himself. Here's Lackey, recently introduced. Went stride for stride with his opposite number 24 in Wellsmore, who got the better of him. Lateral ball, well played by Mihalides to keep it for the Victory. Sends it over to the right-hand side. Across for Paredes from Jordan Hoey. Didn't quite work out, he got it back but then lost it again. Burke looking down the line. Jordan Hoey again down the right-hand side. And well played by his opposite number 14, Blake Carpenter, to help that one behind for an Avondale goal kick.
So as Ollie said, 1 quarter left to play here of full time. And then obviously with an additional couple minutes being added, Melbourne Victory have closed this game right up to just 1 goal. And boy, would they love to walk away with a draw here. Avondale have not had a draw all season long. They've had 13 wins and 3 losses this season so far. They do sit on 39 points. And so far, they look to be on their way to claiming 3 points and reclaiming the top of the table away from Heidelberg United, who currently sit on 41 points. Heidelberg, who are having another great season as well, peaking at the right time. So here's Ahmed. Just going to clear it off onto the outside to Valentin, who's inside the box. He's down. Nothing was called. Referee seeing otherwise. And what could have possibly been a 3-1 chance for Avondale isn't what it's meant to be. And another 2 substitutions getting ready for Avondale. As it's number 13, Yitu Towns, and along too with Christian Trajczewski getting ready to check in. The ball's just going to be sent far down the line to Agwek, who had 13 already. Scored the 2nd goal for Avondale. Inside to Wellsmore. Ahmed back off again to Agwek with a massive boot inside. Melbourne Victory doing a good job at having a body to deflect it. Ball's going to be cleared out to Valentini. Back off to Wellsmore. Ball just being tipped back around in the defence for Avondale. Here's Cuba. He's done a fantastic job inside the midfield. Clears it off to Valentini. With Abani inside. He's inside charging forwards. Could this be another shot? And he's missed it inside the box. Clear as day for Agwek. Could have had 14. But denied on that attempt, Ollie.
I'm honestly baffled, given his goal-scoring prowess, how he hasn't scored there, Manny Agwek. He's scored much tougher ones this season, put it that way. Corner, though, for Avondale, which is drilled in and then headed wide. So it's Ute Towns to come on here alongside Tristan Trajewski. Threes going up everywhere with number 33, Joey Katabianov, as is Sion Cuba. The man who made one appearance at A-League men's level for the victory, Joey Katabian coming off. Trajewski coming on for appearance number 17. Former Hume youngster. For Ute Towns. The man who's made the most appearances for Avondale in the NPL Men's Victoria era. And makes another one here. This is now appearance number 187 in his NPL Men's Victoria career. As Abani will try and get after this. But in first time low, and the opportunity would have opened up for Minatoli had he not slipped. Chance the edge of the box. Harides rolls it right. Minatoli waiting there in the middle. Sent back in. Headed clear as far as Abani. Valentini doing well to win it back and keep hold of the ball for his team, with Wellsmore and Severe now involved. Williams up strong to win the header. They're not going down without a fight here, the victory. It's been the ethos of the club for the last couple of decades, across whatever level. We've seen it so many times in the A-League men's and A-League women's competitions. And now the NPL side trying to show that here as well. Bozanovsky, the man with the goal for the hosts in this second half. Harides. We'll get it back again. Down the inside right channel. Jordan Hoey. And turned aside by Tom Manos. This is about as good a spell as we've seen from the victory all evening. And the question remains whether it leads to a second goal and an equaliser. We'll have the chance to find it from this corner. It'll be Tabena Abani to take. He's been a bright spot for the victory in this second half. Abani in. Towards the top of the 6-yard box. Not fully dealt with. Mihalides at the edge of the box. Will win another corner. In fact, he won't. Got a little bit unlucky there. Jack Mihalides is behind for an Avondale goal kick. Just under 7 to play in the 90. Still, it's the visitors who lead by 2-1.
Kerker. Agwek, I should say, sorry, trying to control it with that possession. It was a tough contest. Well, coming into this game, it is Avondale with all the momentum, getting a 5-1 victory last week against the Melbourne Knights. Melbourne victory. Had a tough time last week at Lakeside, going down 4-2 to South Melbourne. South Melbourne starting to find a little bit of form in this back end of the season. They did have a victory against them earlier on, I believe. Don't count me on that one. Here's Harides inside the box, takes a shot. And Manos with a save, only just. Big time save for Avondale. And we could have possibly been seeing 2-2 on the scoreboard had that one not been stopped by the keeper in Manos. The ball just going to be tipped around here. Here's Towns. Just keeping it alive at the moment. Towns, who was benched this game, started last week. It's a ball through for Aguek, and that time is denied once again. A couple chances for Aguek this evening, just not meant to be. He's already the leader in the NPL, scoring with 13. Doing a stellar job so far this season, he is. Here's Bozanovsky, the only goal scorer for Melbourne victory. Very unorthodox shot it was. Somehow the ball was crossing back in. And just at the right spot at the right time he was to place it in the back of the netting. So here come Melbourne victory again on that far side. He's got Harides inside, tries to cross it in but couldn't. Again, the Avondale defence just proving too strong for victory. And in fact, it was an offside, I believe. Offside.
Just a throw. There's a little bit of confusion as to what was going on there, but all cleared up now. Valentini. In boards. Smart ball to find Sevilla, who will try a shot. See that one curl wide. Never looked likely as soon as it left his boot, to be honest, but he's very capable. Luca Sevilla. He's approaching a milestone in this league. He's making appearance number 93 tonight in the NPL Men's Victoria competition. Get to 100. Most likely this season, particularly given that Avondale will make a run into the postseason, the finals. I suppose it depends how long that run is in case of injury, but if he stays injury-free, he should be fine to get there before then. So Benarabani will look for Lackey. It's well played in the end to find Valentini. On the turn there, Sevilla, he was having his shirt pulled by Mihalides. Few of an Avondale persuasion looking for a card there. Non-forthcoming by the looks. We saw Kalalu Kamara booked in the very dying embers of the first half. He's since been substituted off, so of course doesn't have to worry about a second booking. That ball rolled towards Aguek. Well read by Bozanovsky, who was then caught on it. Yusuf Ahmed into the box to steal it for Avondale. Well blocked. Maybe an injury worry here for the victory. Sultan going across to give Parker Williams a hand. He's making his way around the perimeter of the pitch as Victory will take the drop ball. Mises will get it back here. Parker Williams breaking into a jog, and he's back on. Victory back to 11. We're into the final 60 seconds of the 90 minutes. Ball down the line, unable to trap it there. Linus Burke. As Edwards will send it up towards halfway. Wellsmore for Valentini. And back to Avondale's number 24. His pass across, cut out. Well played by Mihalidis. He was being pulled back. Yellow card for Luca Tavia. And a free kick for the Melbourne Victory, who have more than enough time for a goal and a foray forward if they're good enough.
And as we get closer, 4 minutes of additional time will be displayed here at the home of the Matildas to complete proceedings on this King's birthday clash. And Aguek there just moving the ball from that free kick. So Avondale getting a little bit etchy. Melbourne Victory willing to take their time at the moment, even though they are down 1 goal. I'm sure they feel confident with this free kick, and now they're going to set it up. Ball's up from Mihalidis. Inside, tried to get the header on it, but couldn't quite. And it will be Radamisis with the corner. And Johan Sultan shouting, infuriated, about why there possibly wasn't a card or anything shown on that. Anyway, the corner is back up inside. It's crossed in. Bozanovsky, he's got 2 for the evening. And the crowd goes into a frenzy here at the home of the Matildas. In additional time, a Victory tie up the game at 2 apiece against the top of the table, Avondale. Life, a pulse is still in the Victory. How about that, Ollie?
Some head of that. A Bozanovsky brace has Victory on the verge of a point. Avondale staring down their first draw of the campaign, unless they can find something. Or maybe it's going back the other way. Minatoli over towards the Victory right. And Jordan Hoey will go across to take the throw. And there is time enough for either side.
Ollie, that was some header right there. A big time play, and that's 2 for him.
His first 2 goals of the season. He's had a telling impact on this game. There might be time for more twists and turns yet. Manos. He won't be taking his time. Tries to roll them away. Mihalidis stepping back in. Can he win it for the Victory? It's Tommaso Minatoli inside the box. And a heavy first touch was to his detriment. Manos for Valentini. What an ending to this game we've got. He works his way down the line. And away from a Barney. It's out of play. Behind goal kick. And those Victory fans applaud their NPL talents. And now they will take as long as they can, including Jack Mihalidis, who is down. I'm not sure if it's cramp or injury or time wasting or otherwise. But he will take as much time as he's allowed, and he'll get the hamstring stretch.
And that would have been a big, big goal for Tommaso Minatoli. A good birthday present as well, considering his birthday was on Friday.
Just couldn't quite control it as he would have liked. Few coming here today would have expected this result, I wouldn't think, or the manner in which it's come about. The result, not final yet, but what a priceless point it could be for the Victory if they can find their way there. Pisani for Edwards. Rolls it forwards. It's sent long. Minatoli given something to chase. Manos was composed. Edwards. Pass. Minatoli was interested in getting there first, but couldn't quite. Valentini, ball stayed in play for him. Agwek deep to receive. Valentini again, sending it to the middle. Sultan couldn't claim. It's in! Absolutely remarkable. And would you ever script this up? Yusuf Ahmed, almost as late as it gets. It looked as though the victory had stolen a point in second half stoppage time. And Avondale, from 1, have 3 back again. Off the bench for his 6th goal of the season, and one that might send Avondale top. Valentini down the line. Agwek to go after it. Beaten to it by Abani. Agwek back in. And away he goes. He checks in fields and rolls across. Ahmed the man of the moment. Trying to work it forward. Full time. And on this King's birthday, it's Avondale who retake the crown at the top of the NPL Men's Victoria competition. And what a way to do it was. It looked as though Damien Bozanovsky had stolen a point for a gallant Melbourne victory, who had fought from 2-0 down to get themselves back on level terms. The ball into the middle, one that Sultan misjudged, opened up the avenue for Yusuf Ahmed to get the ball into an unguarded goal and win the game for Avondale. They still don't have a draw this season, and Avondale are top of the league to end this long weekend. Full time from the home of the Matildas. It's finished. Melbourne victory 2, Avondale 3. Stefan Djordjic makes sense of that.
I don't know how that happened. My jaw was dropped, Ollie, when that goal was kicked. Yusuf Ahmed, no idea how he managed to get that. I thought it was almost certain Avondale were going to be getting their first draw of the season. Bozanovsky did everything he possibly could to get that ball in. Victory fought. Avondale, there's a reason, there's a good saying, winners make it happen, losers let it happen. This was pure winners right here. Avondale found a way, and boy did they, walking away back on top of the table. As you mentioned, Avondale, 3 points for them.
So it is Avondale to the top of the table. Heidelberg displaced at the very summit of the Victorian top flight. Yusuf Ahmed, the match winner, and a 5-goal thriller from Bundura ends with an Avondale success. To repeat the full-time scoreline, Melbourne victory 2, Avondale 3 from Stefan Djordjic, myself, Oliver Walker-Peel, and the rest of the team here at the home of the Matildas. We will bid you farewell. Take care, stay safe, enjoy the rest of the long weekend that is here in Victoria, the great state of Victoria, and goodbye for now.